What a bloodbath. The stock market and many other stocks that followed ended up gapping down today massively and having a morning panic. Then stocks began to have reversals at around 10 to 11 a.m. And a lot of them, including the SPY, are already retracing back, having a red to green move on the day. So the question is, within time, for the short term being, in terms of like swing trading, is this going to be a bull trap? And is SPY going to go back down to fill that gap below towards 455? It nearly filled today. It bottomed out at 456.60. Or is this going to be a bear trap? And is SPY going to blast off to new all-time highs? This video is going to give you a much better understanding on when to be long biased, when to be bullish, when to buy the call options, when to be short biased, when to be bearish, when to buy the put options. It is going to teach you how to trade the market both ways. We are also going to be doing an in-depth price action analysis, not only for the SPY, but for several stocks that are in correlation with my strategy and upcoming day trading and swing trading opportunities, such as NVAX, mRNA, a new setup, TLRY. We also have Google, MRIN, Mdb, Amazon, MUF, Ford, DWAC stock, Lucid, Tesla, AMC. We're going to be covering them all within this video. So we're going to start off this video by doing a quick watch list recap. There was an amazing opportunity with the stock analysis given in yesterday's video watch list. Make sure you go back and watch that video. Then we're also going to be recapping a trade. I'm going to be teaching you a strategy I'm using to consistently make money within the market towards the end of this video. I ended up making one day trade. It was a put option on TLRY when it was trading in the 760s. Ended up making a 29% profit return on that, and I'm planning to get back in on that. So we'll go over that. And I'm also going to walk you through all of the upcoming plays and strategies. So guys, if you appreciate these videos, if you like the price action analysis, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel for future updates. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with the top play from the stock analysis. So this is from yesterday's video. I'm going to play the short clip, and this goes to show you there's plays within these videos. You could take advantage of these plays, of these opportunities, and make some serious money. Let's get into this. I literally prepared you guys to get in at the exact bottom on Google stop. Let's roll a clip. This is from yesterday's video. Listen very, very closely. It's going to be part of the strategy heading into this video with future plays. Google, in terms of Google, you're going to want to consider buying this towards these key levels. So one thing that you want to look for in terms of Google is there's a gap to fill right here towards key support, towards $2,673. You see it reacting as a support level down there. You're going to want to consider buying and swing trading some calls for a nice pump to 2,800. Now, if it's not, so that was the play for Google. So what I had pointed out in terms of this, and I'm going to give you the update on all of these here, and we're going to be going over the SPY. Just give me 1 minute. But this red line represents the key gap fill level in terms of where to buy Google. And I'm going to show you how to use confirmation here in a moment, right? But just to show you some past plays on Google, see how there was a gap to fill right here. As soon as it fills that gap, it has a reversal and explodes up. See how there was, this has occurred many occurrences if you go back. But anyways, this is what I wanted to share with you. There was a gap to fill right here, key support, right? So just pay attention to this, guys. Pay attention to the stock analysis. We went over this in yesterday's video. You could see right here, there's a gap to fill. It fills the gap. It starts to have reversal. It blasts off to 2,800 very quickly in just a couple of days. Similar key support level right here. Check it out. There's a gap to fill right here towards that key support, right where this red line is. As soon as it filled the gap, how did it react? Well, it had a bearish reaction. It cracked right through. So if it cracks through, you sit on the sidelines, set a price alert at or above the gap fill level, which is at this red line. Once that gap fill level reacts as a support level, then you can enter the trade. Right here, it bounces back up, reacts as a resistance level, bounces back up, reacts as a resistance level. What did I tell you guys when stocks have hard sell-offs and massive gap downs? The ones that follow the SPY and stuff like that. They like to have reversals at around 10 a.m. So in this case scenario, the reversal really started to happen towards 10:42 a.m. And here is buying confirmation. You have the breakout above the key gap fill level, and then you have support forming. See how it's no longer breaking down? So in terms of confirmations to buy this trade, very simple. You can buy into the support once it breaks out. So like right around here, or you can wait for a little bit higher breakout. There's resistance right here at 2682. Once that breaks out, you can then buy into the higher support right around here. Those are your buying confirmations. And then, like I said, ride this back up to 2800. It already filled this gap. There was a gap to fill at 2740, and it already shot up to nearly 2800. That was a phenomenal play. The call options exploded. Some of them quadrupled in one single day. So the plays are there and the opportunities are there. And I'm getting you in at the best prices, and I showed you the confirmations. Now, let's get into the SPY. So in terms of the SPY, make sure you guys are taking advantage of these plays. So in terms of the SPY, is this going to be a bull trap or a bear trap? How do we confirm this? How do we answer that question? So this is what you need to understand. There is still a gap to fill below right here at 454.98. What happened today was we had an overreaction. I wasn't expecting it to drop that quickly. I was thinking, into this week to next week, like 1 to 2 weeks. Sometimes it happens a little bit sooner than expected, but the price target reached. And like I said, that was 100% spot on analysis. Now, with that being said, this is what we call a partial gap close reversal. Partial gap close reversals can happen when stocks have overreaction. So this is an overreaction when SPY drops, from $466 all the way down to $456, when it drops 10 points in like 1 hour from market open, right? That's an overreaction. So when you see overreactions, this is what I want you to understand about gaps and gap close reversals. They can partially fill that gap and have a reversal, meaning it almost fills the gap and it has a reversal. I used the inverse of this strategy on TLRY to make a 29% profit return today within Trader Society. We had many members make over $500 plus. I had one guy, he's up over 4,000 on those. We're going to go over that. I'll show you the inverse of the strategy towards the end of this video, recapping the only day trade that I made today within the program. Very, very nice profit return. But anyways, SPY had a partial gap close reversal. So what I want you to understand is this is key. Your key level is going to be this level right here at 467.69, and this new level right here where there's a gap to fill above at 466.09. You could see it's nearly filled it during after hours. So what I want you to understand is it's going to be a bear. It's going to be a bull trap, meaning bulls are going to get trapped, and within time we head back to still fill that gap below at 455, right? If this reacts as a resistance level. So if you see 466 to that 467, that channel react as a resistance level, is struggling, it's breaking down, that means that it's going to be a bear trap, and it's going to still go back down to fill that gap below within time. Now, if 467, so forget like 466, in terms of bulls, like they need 467. If this 467, 60-ish level can turn into support and start to break out and look bullish and look strong, this is going to blast off to 475. So that's what I want you to understand. In terms of swing trading, confirmations are going to be towards power hour, towards market close once the candle shapes itself. In terms of your day trading opportunities for tomorrow, if 466 reacts as a resistance level, you're going to want to pick up some puts. If it starts breaking out and reacts to support level, you're going to want to pick up some calls. But in this sense, though, I still think it is going to be a bull trap. I still think SPY is going to be on track to go to 455. But at the moment, it really doesn't matter what I think. It matters is how does this react to that key zone level. So if that key zone reacts as a resistance level, looks bearish, SPY is going to be on track to go to 455. If it reacts as a support level, looks bullish, starts breaking out, SPY is going to be on track to go to 474. So we just saw an overreaction for the downside. Now we're seeing an overreaction for the short term on the long side. But you do have to keep in mind in terms of overall overreactions, it has been more on the sell-off side. So we could start to see some sort of bounce. Looking at the candlestick, I am still leaning a little bit more towards the bear trap side. I think in terms of where we can potentially be at is something like this. This is what I'm considering. Where the same candlestick forms right here, it goes up a little bit, but then it starts to form a channel. It starts to form resistance. If you see it starting to top out towards like that 468 level or low 470s, then it's really going to start to sell off, and then it's just going to snap within time and have this massive move down to fill that gap below. That's where I think we're at. So in terms of what I'm looking for a swing trade and a put, I'm looking for something like this. I think we can potentially be right here in terms of where we're at now. And then we start to see just small little micro bounces, wait for a channel of resistance to begin to form. Whether that's at 468 or 470s to 474, wait for that to start to form. And then once I see that happening where resistance is coming in and it's looking bearish on the multi-day, so I'm going to give it a couple days for the swing, Then I'm going to look to get in, ride this back down to 455. So that's kind of my plan. That's kind of my thesis. That's kind of the analysis on SPY and in terms of where I think we're at. So in terms of swing trading, it's kind of like you have to be on the sidelines, in my opinion, for about 1 to 2 days. By Wednesday, I'll really be able to confirm it, in my opinion. So right now, there's going to be some day trading scalping opportunities. I believe it's a little bit too early to say on the swing trade side, but I still think it's going to be a bear trap. And in terms of where I think we're at, I think we're going to see something similar like this, right? So time will tell, and then I'll be able to take advantage of those opportunities if they present themselves. Now, Amazon. So in terms of Amazon, I'm very, very bullish for the micro on Amazon. So this is what I want you to understand about Amazon. There's a gap to fill at 3251. It should fill tomorrow. This gap should fill fairly quickly. Once this gap fills, if it reacts as a resistance level, it's going to have a hard sell-off. If it can break out and turn into a support level within the same week, we're going to be on track to explode up and then start to fill this gap right here at 3350. So what I want you to understand about Amazon is this is a very bullish gap close reversal reaction. We spoke about how there was a gap to fill right here at 3189. And in terms of the daily candle, it has turned it into support. You have a very bullish wick here. This is the most positive bullish confirmation you can ask for. Extremely bullish on Amazon. So right now for the short term, for the micro, I'm bullish and my target is 3251. If it reacts as resistance, for the micro, I'm bearish. But for the macro, in terms of like 30 days out, I'm extremely bullish still. As long as this can stay above $3,200, this should hit 3350 within a month. So just understand, micro price action, 3251, it should hit, and then that needs to break out and turn into support. If not, it goes back down to 3200. It needs to stay above this 3189 level, right? If it can push above 3251 and turn it into support, that's a very strong confirmation that for the micro, we'll see a quick run up to 3350 within the same week. That's my thoughts on Amazon. So in terms of plays on this, I currently have some short-term options where I'm just looking to ride this up to 3251. And then if it reacts as a resistance, lock in profits. If it looks bullish, reacts as support, continue to ride this out. But in terms of a very large position and a big risk, I want to do a midterm call option on Amazon. I want to go about 32 days out, go a little bit further out of the money, and the target's going to be 3350 on those. I'm waiting to see how it reacts as 3250. That's what I'm waiting for. If we see the pullback, I'm going to look to get in towards 3189, right? So in terms of expected household names, big size, taking a bigger risk, it's going to be on an Amazon call that expires in about 32 days towards like mid-February. That's what I'm looking at in terms of Amazon, right? Just know, extremely bullish for the daily chart, macro bullish, micro bullish, but for micro bullish to continue to run, 3251 has to break out and turn into support. If not, it goes back to that 3189 key level. Now, the next stock, MDB. MDB had a very, very nice, this is the same setup, the same pattern that we reviewed with Tesla. So all-time high, key resistance level with huge downside potential. The stock went from 420 all the way to 238, 50% pullback. Remember how we talked about Tesla? All-time high at the time was 900, and then it went to 500s. Well, once this had its breakout and turned it into support, it had a massive run to 590. So it came back down towards those previous all-time highs, and there was a gap to fill at 401.65. It had a very strong gap close reversal, and then it filled the gap above today. So if this can stay above $430, and this is green tomorrow, this is going to be really on track to explode up for the micro to 465. So I'm looking at potentially getting some MDB call options if this is green tomorrow. Very, very bullish confirmation for another gap close reversal. This is going to be another phenomenal trading setup. You want to see these bullish wicks coming in at these key gap close reversal levels. From a macro point of view, this should easily go back up to 528. So that's another play where I can look to potentially get leap options as well and not just short-term options, right? So in terms of other confirmations I'm using is if SPY can turn 467 into support, then I'm going to be interested in continue riding these out for the micro for their gaps to fill above, like the Amazon 3350 gap to fill above, the MDB gap to fill above right here at $465, right? So in terms of Google, not currently interested in this because there's no gaps to fill above. So it's having a gap close reversal and it already filled its gap. It went to, fill this gap right here. And there's really no other gaps to fill above. So I'm not interested in it. You know, what makes the strategy best is when it has a gap close reversal and then it fills the gap above. And Google already played out. It already filled the gap waiting to fill above right here at $2,740. So that one, not really interested for the time being. Let's go over TLRY. So in terms of TLRY, within the live trading stream at market open, let me pull up the alert right here. So I alerted this today. Let's see. This was the only day trade that I ended up making today as of the week so far. So in terms of the alert, you could see right here, this is within the private chat of Trader Society. This was a killer trade, had many members do very, very well on this one. With that being said, at 10:13 a.m., I bought put options at 56 cents. The strike was 750, basically at the money, I believe, and the expiration was 121. So with that being said, I ended up cashing out at 1:28 p.m. Actually, no, I ended up cashing out right here at 1:32 p.m. I sold at 71 cents for a 27% win. So we're going to break down this trade, and I'm going to share with you the upcoming trading plan for this one. So in terms of TLRY, why did I decide to buy those put options at 10:13 a.m., which is right here? Why did I decide to buy this when this was at 760s, right? So I was looking at the daily chart. This was the same strategy I used on, Thursday to like Friday to bank on the BBBY put options, where I made 18% on those. So TLRY had a gap to fill right here at 798, and there's a lot of resistance at this level, and it had a massive breakdown. You could see that. It went from, your 8s all the way to your 6s. So today earnings ended up dropping, and this was a classic sell the news play. I was looking for this gap to fill at 798. On this day, it partially filled. It got to a high of 793. So it had a partial gap close reversal, and then it just sold off hard a couple days ago. So I was looking at this chart, and I told myself, you know what? I'm going to play it as a partial gap close reversal because it nearly filled the gap at 784. It's reacting as a resistance. It's forming these bearish wicks. So when I saw this retest right here, this high of day retest with these bearish wicks forming, that was my confirmation that, this just had a breakdown. It nearly filled the gap. It's forming lower highs. This looks bearish. I should give this a shot, get in on this. There's not much risk towards, my mental stop loss at the gap fill at 798. Just know though, with the strategy, the best entry and the best thing to do is to wait towards 798. But the puts printed, they did very, very well. They were up 30% within just a few hours. So yeah, in terms of TLRY, there's a gap to fill below at 642. So that was the same strategy. That's called a gap close reversal to fill the gap below. We go in depth on that within the video lesson library of Trader Society. It was the same strategy I used last week, and you can see it's like the same chart as BBBY. If you compare the two, it's the same chart. There's a gap to fill here on BBBY. See the resistance? It fills the gap. Once the gap filled, it had those bearish reactions on the 1-minute candles, and then it starts to sell off and it filled the gap below, made 18% on those. And those really printed if you held them. Those went up nearly 100%. In terms of TLRY, this is going to be one of those plays. So for those of you who stay to the end and watch these videos, this is going to be one of those potential plays where I get back in on. So for this one, your best entry is going to be at 798. I don't think it's going to be able to get that high in terms of what I'm looking for and hoping for tomorrow. I'm hoping this can spike tomorrow. If we can see a spike towards like 750, if it looks bearish around 750, that's my desired entry to buy the puts, ride this back down to 642. I strongly believe this gap is going to fill at 642, most likely on Wednesday. It should go to 642 by Wednesday. So I'm looking to swing trade and I'm looking to get back in on TLRY puts, right? I decided to lock in profits mainly due to the choppiness and just all of the stocks that were spiking back. It could potentially have a short-term spike, and I don't want to give back profits. It's a very similar, same setup to BBBY, and that was a frustrating trade at first because it kept spiking back, and I kept going from being up 20% to down, and then up 20% to down. So what you can do is you can trade them, and then you can always get back in. If it doesn't spike back, then you don't get back in. You just move on to the next one. It's not a good feeling to give back profits consistently. And that's what can occur when you're swing trading options. You could be up 20% and then you're swing trading them, then you're down 30, 40%. And then you could be up 20% again, but you're aiming for the bigger move, then you're down again, right? That's what happened to me on BBBY. I cashed out and did well at 18%. But I don't want to trade in that type of style. I want to lock in profits when it's time to lock in profits and then look to get back in that sense. So next one, Moderna. I'm looking for a put option on Moderna if this can get to right here. $254. There's a gap to fill at 254. Just had a massive overreaction from 210 all the way to 240 in one single day. If this gets to 254 and reacts as a resistance level, I'm looking to scalp some put options on Moderna. NVAX. If NVAX can start to turn this 135 into a support level, I'm going to be interested in swing trading some call options. If not, and it looks bearish, I'm waiting till $102 on NVAX. That's going to be that gap close reversal. There was a gap to fill right here at 135. At first, it had a very negative reaction. It's attempting to make a comeback. In order for this to really come back, this needs to turn 135 to 141 into support. If that can happen, it can explode back up to 176, looking for a swing trade towards NVAX. In terms of other plays, let's see, Tesla. I'm on the sidelines for Tesla. You guys know me. I'm waiting for the best price in terms of buying the calls at 938. That's what I'm waiting for. As of now, I have no interest in really doing anything with Tesla stock. I'm on the sidelines for that one at the moment. So that's on the back burner. AMC. This is what I want you to understand about the micro price action for AMC. There's a gap to fill right here at $23. So tomorrow's going to be the day where it should fill that gap. If it reacts as a resistance level, it's going to start to sell off hard. If it breaks out and reacts as a support level, it's going to be on track to go to 25.50. If it reacts as a resistance level, we're still on track to go to 20.80. And if this goes back to 20.80, it's just not going to be able to hold up. It already tested it once, twice. If it goes back to 20.80, it's not going to be able to hold up. Hard sell off, and then that's when that gap is really going to start to kick in to fill towards 1641, which is where I'm planning to go heavy on call options when this hits 1641 within some time. So that's what you need to know and understand about AMC. Keep this in mind. Key support right here, reacting as lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, resistance. It's make it or break it right now. For AMC, it is make it or break it. If 23 cannot break out and turn into support, very bearish. It'll be on track within time to crack 2080, then fill the gap towards 1641. For the bulls to take control of this micro trend and for them to have a chance for the short term being, they need to turn 23 into support. If that can happen, they're going to try to run it back to 25. I'm still extremely short biased on AMC for the time being, right? So with that being said, Lucid. In terms of Lucid, I'm still waiting for the gap fill reversal play right here at 44.72. Once this goes to 44.72, I think this is going to be a good put option opportunity where you hold this one out for like potentially a couple weeks, ride this back down to like 38 a share. DWAC, we had members take advantage. One guy made 15% scalping the puts. You can see right here, if you go back to the video, watch this yesterday, I told you guys, pick up DWAC put options when it fills the gap and has a pullback. Look at that. You have the gap fill level right there. As soon as it fills the gap, it has a reversal. It goes from 60 all the way down to 56. The puts had a nice scalping opportunity there. With that being said, that was a partial gap close reversal. The gap fill level is at 60.27. It still hasn't filled it. The high of day is currently sitting at 60.15. So if that can push to 60.27, I'm going to look to get puts towards that level. MU, oh, and by the way, DWAC towards 60.27, that's setting up for like a put option where you hold that out, get like a midterm swing, give it a couple weeks, and ride this back down to 43.7 to fill the gap below. That's where you buy it. You start buying this when it fills this gap at 43.7, wait for the bullish confirmations, and then ride this back up. There's a catalyst as their app is going to be launching, I believe on January 18th, their app's going to be launching soon. There's a catalyst coming up. So if this can get to like 43.70 before that catalyst, it's going to be ideal to buy and then sell into the news. MU, in terms of MU, I'm extremely short biased. So these are going to be passive income leap option plays. I would consider looking into March 18th put options for MU and Ford stock. So in terms of MU, my target for this one is going to be $82. It's going to take some time. Go with some midterm options on those. Let those ride. They're not too expensive. Extremely short bias, extremely bearish on this. We just topped out towards all-time highs, and we're seeing a very similar pattern where it's just crunching, forming these bearish pins towards resistance. It's looking very, very bearish. In terms of Ford, we had a member in the live trading stream ask me about Ford in terms of today's webinar. And when this had its gap down and spiked back up, I told him, Ford is looking like a great put option opportunity. And as soon as it filled this gap, it had a bearish reaction, confirmation to buy the puts. You could see it had a gap close reversal, and then it had a hard sell-off. I had a couple members do very, very well on Ford. One guy within the chat made 60% return on the Ford put options. So that was a classic gap close reversal. This is what I want you to understand in terms of, Ford stock. We're in this channel right now from 23.50 to 24.95. The next hard sell-off occurs when this key support cracks and turns into a resistance level. You can look to get puts at 23.50. I am now extremely bearish on Ford, even more, because it had a gap close reversal. It gapped down, it filled the gap, had a reversal, which was the high of day, and it's already heading back towards the support. Once this support cracks and it reacts as a resistance level, you're going to start to see a nice pullback to this level at 22.50. Then once 22.50 cracks, this gap right here is going to fill at 21.77. So Ford is setting up for a great put swing trading opportunity along with MU. Give those some time. When you're swing trading options, always give them more time than you expect. That way, you can hold those out and the theta decay isn't going to affect you and you don't have to be 100% spot on perfect timing. So guys, those are the plays. Those are the top analysis. The last one is MRIN. In terms of MRIN, guys, take a look at this one. We got a buying opportunity coming up. This stock loves having gap close reversals. I've studied, I've analyzed the chart history. Just to give you an example right here, there was a gap to fill right here. As soon as it fills the gap, it explodes up, nearly fills that gap. This stock likes having short-term gap close reversals. So take a look at the chart. What we're seeing is overreactions. This went from 320s, massive gap up to 5, overreaction. And now it went from 5 to 370s in a day, overreaction. So here's the play. There's a gap to fill at 345. You see this at 345, it's looking bullish, it's consolidating, it's starting to uptrend. Buy the dip. Ride this back up to fill the gap at 453. Once the gap fills at 453, buy the put options. This has calls and puts. That's the play, guys. Long biased here, short biased here. Gap close reversals both ways. It's going to be a nice play. I'm keeping a very, very close eye on MRIN. So guys, that is going to wrap up today's video watch list. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot. If you do want to trade live with me every single day at market open, I will really help guide you with your own trading ideas, and then I'll share with you my trading ideas as well. I'll give you my real-time stock analysis. I'll help assist you with your trades. That is every day live at market open, where you get to see me trade some of these plays within watch list live, where I get to break down your stocks, where I break down new stocks, off the pre-market scanners, right? It's the first link down below in the description. You also get access to one-on-one direct messaging. It's the only way to contact me personally. And then you also get access to the video lesson library, where you get the education for the price action, the trading strategies, the psychology, the risk management. And you get access to the chat room with my real-time trade alerts. There's a lot more to it. I would encourage you to check it out. It's the first link down below in the description. I'm looking forward to having you guys within Trader Society, and I will see you tomorrow live at market open.